Cool. All right. You ready? We've been trying to do this for, I don't even know how long we've been trying to do this for.
Like 25 years in the making. No, even more.
How long have we known each other?
Oh my God. 1999?
19. We did not meet in 1999.
No, that's when we graduated.
That's when we graduated high school.
Before then. We're just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, okay.
Drop that there.
So a couple decades we've known each other for. We'll go with that.
Yep.
Both parents now, both been married, lived a whole life.
Whole ass life.
College, sports, boyfriends, girlfriends, me, whole lot of girlfriends.
Me, a whole lot of boyfriends.
You got a whole lot of boyfriends? Did you have a whole lot of boyfriends or did you just flirt a ton?
I had boyfriends and I flirted. Not exclusive. I mean, being in the city in your 20s was like.
You're talking Manhattan.
Manhattan, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. In the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like Jenny from the Block, Ben Affleck was big because I'm just watching that right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jenny was big. And everyone was just a banker. So you just.
Everybody was a banker?
Everyone was, at least everyone in my circles, I guess. You were either a banker or you were like a nonprofit. I don't know. Maybe I was in weird circles.
Damn, that's a weird. I mean, that's up. Well,
but I will tell you,
upscale circles.
The deal with dating investment bankers, or not even dating, I can't even say dated. The deal with hanging out with investment bankers is that we'd all be at the club, bottle service, lovely, everything, and then they'd look at you at like 3 a.m. and they'd be like, "I gotta go back to the office," and I'd be like, "The fuck you do
to work?"
Yeah, they'd get called in, and so I was like, "Show me the email." Because I was like, I've seen this movie before. You're not going back to work. And then they'd like pull out the BlackBerry because they had Blackberries.
Oh, man. Do you remember that?
Those things were like bricks.
I had one. I never fully learned how to use it. Yeah. I would try to email on it. It never worked. Yeah. Oh, God, that's right. You had, yep.
Yep. I think we just aged ourselves.
Shoot. Yeah. I forgot about that. I always go straight back to beepers. But God. Blackberries.
You remember the Palm Pilots with the little.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
That was like the Palm. You were like.
My grandmother thought she was like, she would just be writing stuff. I'm like, Grandma, who are you talking to? Nobody. I'm just writing. Like, okay.
Listen, Grandma Diane had important things.
She did. And she knew a lot of people too. So she was in it to win it.
Yep.
So funny.
Yep.
Amen. So dating investment bankers, early 2000s.
Yep.
Where did we go? We went off on a tangent,
just like life,
down rabbit hole.
Yeah, that whole thing. Just where we were.
Then
when did you move back here? When did you come back here?
Oh shoot, 2011.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, 2011. Because I met Colleen at the end of 2011. And like true lesbians, we got married like 6 months later.
Tied her up.
Yep.
Yeah, you were like, she has a contract.
Yeah.
Living here. Yep.
That was did you have that too? I was thinking, did you like that first 2-3 months that she moved in with me, man? And she'll tell you too. I'm not saying anything that we haven't talked about a million times, but she has such long hair. And every time I would go sit down somewhere, there'd be some wet towel from her drying her hair and then just taking it off and leaving it on the couch cushion or the chair behind her. And she'd get up and go do something. And I'd come sit down and put my head back and just be like, like, so there's a little bit of, I was super neat, made the bed every morning. Everything was in its place. Cause I was a bachelor. I lived by myself. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Everything was just clean. I'm fresh out of the military. Like,
right.
So
you were trained a certain way.
And here she comes, shoes everywhere, towels everywhere, leaving dishes in the sink unwashed, like all kinds of I was like, what is happening? Like, did any growing pains at the beginning of yours?
Yeah. I mean, and like weird stuff too. Like, I don't like the garbage to pile up. So like once it gets to a certain point, I'm like, take the bag out, especially because you're living in New York City. So it's not like there's a ton of room. So if the garbage in the kitchen smells, like it's smelling everywhere. And there was just this pushing the garbage down. I was like, why would you do that? It's not like it disappears. You take the fucking bag down the stairs.
It's weird. It's not a difficult thing to do. I think
no, they're never difficult things to do.
None of them are difficult. I mean, now what, 11 years, 12. We're been together for 12 years now, married for 11. But like now it literally it's become like, so I'll see the garbage is ready to go out and I'll just pass it. And then she'll see it and she'll be like,
Uh-huh.
I know she saw that garbage before she left the house.
Uh-huh.
And so that she'll just pass it. And then like we'll just keep, and then I'm
Yep.
like,
And then your kids get old enough and you're like, that's your job.
I
That's
just
your
take the
chore.
garbage out.
You're like, great. I'm not doing that anymore.
We did that for a couple years, like in the middle of our marriage. And then finally I was like, I see it. I see the garbage. I'm taking it out immediately upon arrival. Like I got it. I see it.
Yeah.
So
I know.
it's just funny how that happens. I think it happens in every relationship for the most part.
I mean, you have to learn how to be roommates, right? Like you have to like cohabitate with someone, and that's a very different skill set than like having a romantic relationship with someone. It's like completely, but I will tell you, it has changed the way that I give my children their tasks, because I used to just like give them a list of things they had to do every day. And in like it's been really, really new, but probably like 6 months or so, I will just assign them a room and be like, you need to go in there and look and see what needs. I'm not going to tell you how to clean it, because I don't want to raise kids and partners that are like, I don't see it, because I've gotten that line so many times, and I'm like,
how did you not see it?
I don't understand how you, like, if I put like a chicken parm hero in the middle of the room, like you would have seen it. So, like,
something you want, you'll see.
Come at me with I don't see it or I don't notice it. So now with my kids, I'm like, go notice what needs to be done. And then if like something is really glaring, I'd be like, yeah, you got to go notice things again, right?
How old are your kids? I have a 6-year-old.
13 and 10. So they're more than capable of like figuring out when shit needs to get done. And actually it's kind of nice because they get to choose the order that they want to do things and like how they want to, and they'll ask me for help with tasks. I'm like, yeah, of course, but I'm not in charge of like breaking everything down for you, because like when you're living with someone, you have to be able to go and be like, I got to notice garbage, or I got to notice like whatever.
Yeah. You're making them critically think in their bedrooms,
oh my God.
right?
Yeah. Oh my God. The first time they did it, they're like, this is hard. I'm like, really? It's hard to notice that like there's no pillows on the couch because they've all been knocked on the floor, and like there's candy wrappers everywhere. That's not hard, sweetie. That's just
I wonder if they don't, it's not that they don't notice it, but they haven't realized that that's not where the pillows are supposed to be. Like to them, it looks fine because it's just pillows on the floor. Whereas to us, it's like, those are my pillows. I put my head on them.
Yeah, right. Like, that's the thing. I put my face on it. Like, I put my fucking face on there.
Can you please?
I know. Yeah. I'm like, you put your face on there. And the other thing I think is like, I've definitely fucked up, and I'm cursing so much. So
no, it's fine.
I've definitely messed up as a mom because I was like, oh, let me just do everything. Like you focus on being a kid and let me just do everything. And I had to pull that back, and it was like really difficult because they would be like, well, why aren't you doing it? Right. And it was like, mom doesn't love us anymore. This is what I think they're saying in their heads. It probably isn't. It was mostly like mom's just being really mean right now, and she's making us do our own chores.
Yep.
And it's also really hard to not be like, when I was your age, like
you turn into your parents real quick and don't realize it.
Uphill both ways in the snow conversation.
Oh my gosh.
I needed to retire that real quick because I was like, we're not doing this to them.
I have legit turned into my grandfather somewhere between like 38 and 42 now. Like somewhere in there, all of a sudden I'm reading the New York Post. I'm reading the New York Times. I'm, you know what I mean? And I have to, like you said.
Part of your DNA.
Yeah. I don't know why. I turned on Fox News the other day and I was like, I realized I did it. And I was like, okay, well, you know what?
Like, this feels strangely familiar.
I'm going to allow. Yeah, maybe it's like just a comfort thing because that's what he always did. And that's what I always heard on television. But still, I'm like, I don't watch the news. What is happening? I call a friend, phone a friend.
Right.
Yeah. Or I go on someone's, I don't know, something.
Someone explains it to you.
They just let me know what's happening. I'm like, okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. Someone smarter than me. Thank you. But
you find yourself doing stuff and you're like, did I just do that? The other day I said something to my daughter. Oh my God. And it was literally like my mother's like spirit like came through my body. And I was just like,
whoa,
what did I just say? Oh, I said there's a saying in Spanish que en guerra avisada no muere soldado, which is basically like in a war that is coming, soldiers shouldn't die.
Right.
Basically like you were warned. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. Now don't bitch at me
Me-
because shit didn't go your way.
Right.
And I said that to her, and she was like, I don't even know what that means. And I was like, well, you can ask your grandma because I heard that all my life.
Oh, well, your mom was. Yeah. You're
Still.
yeah.
Is
She
still.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Listen, our kids are lucky because I think we've taken the best traits out of our parents, and now, like, I've learned how to-
Process the emotional trauma.
Yeah, like, how do you
And they get the result.
when my kid would act up when he was in his terrible threes, it would just be like, okay, you go in your room and have
Yes.
relaxed time.
Yep.
Mommy's gonna have relaxed time over here. And we'll bring it back together when we've both relaxed a little bit, and then we'll talk about it. And we still do that. So it's just these kids are so lucky that we actually have worked through childhood traumas.
Yes. Yes. And like have, access to resources about like gentle parenting or emotional regulation or like all that stuff.
Or
I
go
was like,
outside.
you would not have survived. You would not have survived.
I was chopping trees down. Who are you kidding? I was outside chopping wood, like, until I felt the need to come back in and act right. Like,
yes, ma'am.
so
Yes, ma'am. I know.
Oh my God.
I know. My mom was like, you need a job. And I was like, I'm 9.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
She
you
was like-
did. You worked super early.
Yep. Yep.
The
And she
rest
was
of us
like,
had to wait to get those 14-year-old working paper cars, not you.
Nope. My mom was like, you can iron. I don't want to iron.
That's right.
Like, she was like, I don't care.
Oh my God.
know.
That's a lot of kids worked in our grade. There were a lot of kids
Yeah.
that were working
Oh, yeah.
early.
Oh, yeah.
Mine was just a summer fun job. They're like, you can't sit home all summer, so you need to go to Athlete's Foot and get a job, which
And do
all
that
my
stuff.
money
Oh my
went
God.
to sneakers.
Athlete's Foot, remember?
Yep, Bridgehampton.
Oh my God.
Hell yeah.
Oh. my
That they were happy to drop me off every morning.
Take this child. Take this child. We can't have her anymore. I know.
Yeah, are you gonna start your daughter working next year?
Oh, yes. Yeah, she
Oof.
wants to work at a jewelry store.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, have at it. Like, great. Do it.
Optimistic that she wants to work. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got a good work ethic on the things that she enjoys. So she'll just do it.
That's, you know what? Because my coworker, you know her, Margot, downstairs.
Yeah.
She's got 2 young boys and a daughter a little younger than us. And the oldest one's a senior in high school, and the youngest one is a freshman in high school. And the senior always worked his entire high school career. Always. Even went to work when he was young with his dad all the time, just construction, plumbing, whatever.
Yep.
The younger one is a little bit more hectic and a little bit more mouthy and a little like his
Youngest ones, man.
He's a little harder than the older one was, but he's going now, just starting to work with dad.
Yeah.
And I think dad wants to not
him?
have him work with him anymore.
Very diplomatic. Let's just find you something else.
So it is, but it does kind of, but he is a worker. So he went to go work with his uncle at a bakery, and that he loves, so
Okay.
that he enjoys going to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny because I don't think you find, and forgive me, here we go into the parts that I might have to you might want me to delete out, but I don't think you find American kids going to work like that. Like, I think there's a work ethic in Latino families
Hell yeah.
that just like kids, you don't, any of these 14-year-old little kids that come walking in, American kids that come walking in the store, they have their like a credit card attached to their mother's credit card that they can just run when they feel like it.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, like the way I felt about work, and again, this is like some of the things that I go to therapy to talk about. But so it's like, I'm not saying this is right, but I mean, my mom was like, no, this is our work. Like, this is the work that keeps you fed and housed and clothed. So like, yeah, you have to contribute. And there was always a sense of like contributing in some way, shape, or form. I mean, I remember even in college too, like I hustled so hard to work to be able to spend my own money. So I didn't have to ask my parents for anything, because the thought of asking them for more was like, I would rather have cut off my own arm than to be like, can you pay for my going out money, or like for my books even? Like I wasn't even doing that. But yeah, I always felt this.
And I'm over here like, Grandpa, My bank account ran out. Can I get some till the summertime? Sure, babe. Boop. Like there's just a different.
There's just a difference.
Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. As soon as I was an adult, and I was supposed to be on my own, doing my own thing, and I was like, when I lived in the apartments above the deli,
Yeah.
even now, like I had to pay rent.
Yeah.
If I lived
You have to be
with my
responsible.
grandparents, if I was licking my wounds at home after something that I tried and failed at, yeah, like I had to pay him rent.
Yeah.
It wasn't
That's fair.
as a child though. Oh no, I was like, oh, there's a rip in my sneaker. He was like, new Jordans.
Done.
Like
Done.
So there's definitely a difference. And I did not mind calling my grandparents and asking for help.
Yeah. But I feel like in a way I feel like the way that I experienced it was also because it was very specific. Like when you had just arrived to this country when I was little, like my parents were trying to build. And so when you're like in building mode as a kid, you look around and you're like, all right, I guess I'll be in building mode too, right? Like this constant hustle.
Yeah, how
And
old were you when I met you? You spoke like English without an accent at all.
I mean, I came here when I was 3, so
Oh,
it was
okay.
like
All right.
I like learned English
Ish
right off the bat.
together
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Gotcha.
So the way that my brother grew up, however, so he's 13 years younger than I am. My parents had already achieved financial stability, so he was getting shit that I was like,
Wait a
"Excuse
minute."
me?" Yeah, and I would get mad. I would be like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, how did he get that?" And my mom was like, "Oh, he just wanted it." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like the outrage that I would experience because I was like, I had to hustle so hard for all of my shit, and you're just giving it to him. And my mom was like, "You calm down. It's not that serious, right?" And I would just be, I
no,
remember the
it's
outrage.
serious.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell, man? Yeah.
Do you think that has something a little bit to do with that also too? He was a boy and he's the youngest boy. Like he's their last baby. He was the baby.
Oh, 1,000%.
So
I don't know that it has to do so much with gender in my family because like both of my parents really work hard. So I think had I been a boy, the outcome would have been pretty similar because of
yeah,
where
and
we
you were
were
so much older, and you were brand new here your parents
Yeah.
were kind of more established.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what got me in trouble is that I'm so extroverted and just like put me in, coach. And my brother is like, I'd rather not. Right. And so like I think that my parents were like, well, even if so case in point, my mother tells this story all the time. At some point you cook a meal and your kid's like, I don't want to eat it. And so my mother, this is like her holy grail of stories. She was like, all right, don't eat it. And she has this whole imagery in the story of like pulling the plate from the table and putting it in the refrigerator. And then like hours later, when I was hungry, she was like, all right, here you go. And warmed up the plate and put it in front of me. And I ate it. She did the same thing to my brother and he didn't eat for 2 days. And she was like, I have to feed this child or he's going to starve.
Oh,
So I think that he was like,
broke the mold a little bit.
I think he broke them.
Yeah.
I think he broke them. So my parents were like, okay,
They didn't have any more energy.
We are
Yeah.
tired. Like whatever.
Oh my-
I think I was like like the people pleasing daughter,
Sure.
like whatever you need me to do. And he was just like,
No.
I'm not eating it. I'm not eating it.
Oh my God. Well, that's our kid too. He I mean he is on the spectrum. So he does have some things when it comes to eating that he's very specific about. So, but it kind of came down to Colleen just being like, this kid has to eat. He's growing at an enormous rate.
Right.
And he's so skinny. Like I can't try to make him eat vegetables. He's not going to eat them.
Yeah.
And we
Need
just
some
have to
calories
get
in this child.
peanut butter in this boy immediately.
Yep.